Everyone, I'm Kim with Abundant Life Tarot, and we are working on the Antique Anatomy Tarot study. And as a part of this study, I wanted to create some content to help us on our journey into really connecting with this deck, deepening our understanding of how to work with this deck. And so I've decided to take on some different topics that were found and featured in the guidebook, in the Antique Anatomy Tarot guidebook. This guidebook was written by Claire Goodchild, and it's really good for new or seasoned readers. I thoroughly enjoy the guidebook as much as I enjoy the deck. So in today's video, we're going to be discussing color in the tarot, and we know that colors for each of us evoke a certain emotion, or we can recall certain things that pop into our mind when we see a color. And there are some colors that are universal, right? Universal to many of us. And when we see it in a card, it could be telling us something and adding a beautiful layer to the card's meaning. So I'm going to read an excerpt here from Claire Goodchild about color and the tarot. This is in the guidebook. It says, color evokes all sorts of emotional responses in us. These feelings can range from serenity to joy to despair. The colors connected to the deck add depth to and heighten the meanings of the cards. And so in today's video, we're going to look at certain, the colors, the main colors that typically show up in this deck and probably in your deck, whether you have a pip deck or a fully illustrated deck. You will find that understanding some of the key universal meanings of a color when you see it in the cards is going to really deepen your understanding of what the messages are saying. And so that's always helpful, whether you're doing this tarot study or not. So if you're curious about colors and the tarot, or if you are joining in on the tarot study, stay tuned. Okay, so let's briefly go through the list of tarot color associations courtesy of the Antique Anatomy Tarot. First up is the color red. We typically associate anger, passion, love, sex, and danger to the color of red. Then we have orange. With orange, we associate creativity, expression, fun, and success. Then we have the color yellow, which we typically associate positivity, optimism, warmth, and growth. Then up next is the color of green, which we associate life, nature, fertility, health, and envy, like green with envy. Then we have the color blue, which we typically associate the feeling of calm, sadness, grief, boredom, or peace. Then up next is purple, which has prophecy, dreams, high power, royalty, and luxury associated with that color. Then we have the color of pink, which we typically think of compassion, caring, playfulness, sweetness, and romance. Then we have up next the color of white, which we typically associate purity, innocence, simplicity, and clarity. And then finally, last but not least, we have the color of black, which we typically associate fear, mystery, power, and pain. So now we're going to dig into the cards a little bit deeper, and I have separated them by their primary colors. And I can't wait to dig into them with you. Okay, so let's get into these two cards here. So we have a Major Arcana card in the Strength card, and then we have the Queen of Rods. So we have two colors depicted. We have red flowers, and then we have green leaves, and then we have a strong femur bone, right, or thigh bone. And that bone, that strong bone, represents the weight that this bone bears for the whole body. It is quite strong, right? And when we're looking at the colors that are shown here, I'm trying to just get it where you can get it. You can see the colors perfectly. We have the color red, and red is typically associated with anger, passion, love, sex, and danger. And then we have green, life, nature, fertility, health, and envy. So this is saying here, when we're just looking at the cards in terms of colors, that this is a situation in a reading that is saying that you are having strength in adversity, in the face of adversity, where anger is being thrown at you, or you're having to suppress anger and move through different emotions to really navigate a situation or a relationship issue, right? It could indicate strength and passion that you have for, something you're, a goal, something you're pursuing, or a person that you're passionate about is strong feelings. So if this card came up with the Two of Cups in the reading, that it's speaking to a love matter, and that this is a relationship that's strengthening in love, right? This is about facing danger and adversity and standing up for yourself, being strong, standing in your own convictions. And this is also about not giving in to envy, whether envy is being thrown at you or you having strength of mind to rise above envy, rise above envious thoughts, comparing yourself to others, worrying about what other people have, feeling the sense of lack, when in fact you recognize the strength of your own abilities to manifest, the strength of your own abilities to create and be fertile, okay? That you have a strong, healthy body, a strong, healthy mind, a strong, healthy sense of how you manifest, okay? So that's what we can go with. One of the many directions you can go with the colors, right? So that's what's cool about having the tarot color associations and being able to play around with those words and what you see and what you know. So this is what I see and what I know with the femur bone, and then we applied those color associations. Next, let's do this also with the Queen of Rods. The Queen of Rods, she is a fiery one. She's vivacious. She's the most vivacious of all the queens in the tarot. She is ambitious, goal-oriented. She is a fertile one. She's a creative one. So when she sets a goal, she fosters an environment that encourages the growth of her ambitions, her goals, the things that she wishes to put forth into the world. Okay, so that ties into that fertility piece with the green, right? At times, she can be anger-filled. She can be like a pistol where she just shoots off at the mouth, and she's kind of hot-headed and hot-tempered. She's quick to anger. She's also, and this is like in the reverse, right? The reversal of the Queen of Rods. So if this came in reverse, and we're like, okay, this is a woman who may be a little envious, not in the place to be able to be creative. So it's making her a little angry and not fulfilled and not happy and not exuberant. So that's what we can associate in terms of the color red and green in this instance to these tarot cards. All right, we're going to move on to the next color. Okay, so we have our oranges here, and in true form and fashion, the Antique Anatomy doesn't just typically stop with one color. There are some suits and some majors that it does, but typically there's, a couple of colors denoted here. So let's get first into the 5 of rods. Rods are traditionally the wand suit or the fire energy or element. So with the 5 of rods, and what I know about the 5 of wands is typically that it denotes some level of conflict, and what could start out as fun, right? Because orange is associated with fun, expression. But we also have color of green, and green also can have a little element of envy. There could be petty arguments at hand, petty disagreements, tit for tat type of arguments, people feeling the need to express themselves, and it's more about expression versus actually really, it's more about expressing themselves and actually listening to the other side and really being able to hear one another when you have the 5 here, when we're talking about numerological associations. Even with the cross of the rods here, it denotes some kind of imbalance, not being able necessarily to fully create the way we wish to, because we are dealing with other people's sense of expression. But on the other hand, sometimes oftentimes you need this energy. You need the 5 of rods energy before the development and movement of a creation, right? And what I mean by that is things that are born aren't necessarily born into the easiest of things or easiest of circumstances. Oftentimes, birth in and of itself is quite messy, and there's a sense of feeling in turmoil with oneself when you're giving birth, like to a baby, for example, when you're giving birth to an idea. But nevertheless, you will be successful, okay, when you see the color orange. And you will push through and persevere. And sometimes the 5 of rods depicts playing games, having fun, playing with others, a competition, not just fights and conflict, but competition, and maybe winning. Maybe you're the winner in the competition, right? Sorry, moving the card all around. So now let's move to the Knight of Rods, which is traditionally the Knight of Wands. And we have, it's looks like a more teenager's size skull. We have multiple cards here, but the flowers, for the most part, are orange, from what I could tell. There is some pops of yellow, and certainly there's green leaves. So the Knights are about action, taking steps to move ahead in the particular element we're discussing, which is the wands or rod element. So this is about embarking on creative endeavors, taking those action steps to express yourself. This is a night that is fun, is expressive, is successful, goes out and gallops ahead, full speed ahead towards achieving goals. So that's what I love about that. And we're not going to go too much for time's sake into the green here, but you see here how you can tie in the color associations when you're seeing not just the Antique Anatomy Tarot, but any tarot deck. Even oracle decks or Lenormand decks, you can see what colors are there or predominantly showing up in a reading, and that could kind of be the influence or the overall energy surrounding the situation, right? So looking at the color associations, I hope that you're starting to pick up the theme here of what we're doing. All right, let's move on to the next color. Okay, so now we are at the Sun card. Beautiful Sun card. And we have these beautiful flowers. I believe these might be marigolds. And then, of course, there's green leaves here. So, I am loving this card so much. And we're just going to go straight into the color associations here with yellow. So when we see this card, don't we get feelings of positivity and optimism? When we see this card, a sense of warmth and growth. And then also with the green, the pops of green, this is growth in areas of, all areas of life, right? A fertile time. A lot of times people will associate the Sun card with fertility, and it's one card aside from like the Empress, for example, that may denote pregnancy or birth. Birth of a baby, but birth of new ideas. Growth. Growth of aspirations. Growth of different things you're pursuing. When you see the Sun card, it's about clarity, illumination, things becoming super clear to you, or a call to be more optimistic about a particular situation. So I love, love, love the Sun card. It's even got this halo. Yeah, like a halo I sense here. What do I see here? A halo around, again, just that positivity and the sense of full growth and prosperity when you see the Sun card. I'm feeling the whole opulence of this card as well, with that beautiful halo and then the marigolds growing here. All right, let's move on to the next color. So I've chosen the World card, and wow, this is quite the World card, isn't it? The circle here is about coming full circle, a sense of completion, but with the sense of success and completion and achievement comes the point of a new beginning, starting over, all over again, because you've reached the ultimate goal that you have set out to do. This could typically, when I think of the World card, I think of, even world travel, being a worldly person. And then we have here the color green. And the color green here, according to our tarot color associations, is life, nature, fertility, health, and envy, which is interesting, right? We have all the different beasts depicted here, which I really like and appreciate. And we have the full, all the organs here of the torso of, so I would have to look at the guidebook to know specifically what all this is referring to. But in terms of the color green, we see, we know of this being kind of a sense of success and completion and achievement. Achievement in what? Achievement in life, in fertility, and for growing a family, growing a career, achievement in overall health and well-being, wholeness, right? Wholeness. Maybe that's what this is referring to. Maybe in the sense of the reversal of the World card, we could have envy. You don't feel like you have it all. You don't feel like the world is your oyster. You feel like others have achieved so much more than you have. So you hold envy. I could see that. All right, let's move on to the next color. So we have the Four of Elixirs, elixirs being cups, or representing the element of water and the traditional cup suit. And then we have Five of Elixirs, and both have different little blue flowers. What I like about the flowers, especially here in the fives, as you can see pops of yellow. So we'll talk a little bit about that in just a moment. But here, the Four of Elixirs. Now remember, the color associations or the tarot color associations for blue is calm, sadness, grief, boredom, and peace. Sometimes I associate stagnation, falling into a comfort zone, or the risk of falling into playing it safe, starting to get bored, right? So we start to, what turned out to be such a good thing for us with these different things like morphine is actually starting to become bad for us as we start to get into stale or stagnant energies. And so when I think of the traditional tarot, and I see here the blue color association of boredom, that makes sense to me. But there's also a sense of calm and feeling at times satiated and good about where you're at. But then just making sure you are not looking over at other people and seeing that the grass may be greener for your neighbor's yard versus your own, paying too much attention to what's over there and not what's going on over here. And that ties into these little green leaves here, right? Because remember, the green color, according to this guidebook, is envy. So being careful of that little envy kind of creeping in and creeping up on you. I love that. They've got arsenic, morphine, heroin, cyanide. All right, now, Five of Elixirs. And what we know traditionally about the fives is a sense of inner conflict, inner turmoil, a sense of loss, also a sense of not being able to remain positive and to see the glass half full, but only focusing on the empty glasses here, and we could even see that here with the bottles that are kind of covered. Look, if you look carefully here, what's obscuring this leaf is obscuring what's peeking out that says joy. And I can't quite see, maybe passion up here. I don't know. It's a longer word here, but I can clearly see that JOY is peeking through. And so with this one, sadness, certainly. This is a potent color of blue as well. Sadness, grief, and just being careful again about missing the opportunities to see joy in the situation and to be grateful and to remain positive about what remains here. Only focusing on the negative, because what we have here in the negative is morphine, cyanide, and what is this? Oh, Fitzpatrick Clover Passion Tincture. But this is also obscured. You see that? I love that this little thing she's done here with the leaves here. I love that a lot. So yeah, we won't go, for time's sake, we won't go in too much depth, but you're seeing here how you're tying in the colors, right? You're tying in the colors. And the main color here is that blue. So that is also a guide, but also looking at what's going on in the images too, and picking up on any clues. And this is why it's important to take a moment to deep dive into your cards and into your deck so you get familiar with what clues are there. All right, let's move on to the next color, shall we? Okay, so we have the moon card, and the moon has these little violets or little pretty purple flowers here. And of course, there's some green. So one key color association that I thought of as I was preparing this card to show you all is intuition. sometimes things being obscured. And I love that we can't see the eyes of the skull. The skull is facing away from us. Typically, the skulls, you see their face, right? Here, you cannot. Things being obscured, things being blocked, and you having to kind of rely on your intuition is what I associate with the moon card. And so prophecy, I love that she gave the word prophecy. I thought that was a good choice, as well as dreams. And just like the sun card, there's like this halo here, denoting some sense of royalty or higher powers here as well, right? And I also get a sense of luxury as well. I think with the color yellow, there was growth associated with yellow, but with the purple is luxury. So I can see that as well with the moon card here. And we have the color green. The leaves here are showing about, life, nature, fertility, health, and envy. And since the main featured color is this purple, that is what's going to probably be the color associations and the meanings that really take up prominence in the reading, right? And then we look to the clues of what the green could tell us. Yeah, I love this. I love that the face is turned away. I love picking that up here. All right, let's keep going. So we have the Lovers, of course, and then the Queen of Elixirs. So let's talk about these lovers here. It looks like these are pink carnations, and we've got an anatomical heart here. Just love this so much. So with the lovers, and we're just going to go strictly off the little color depictions here, we have compassion, caring, playfulness, sweetness, and romance. And then we have, the stems and the leaves for these flowers, and they're green. And so the green associations is life, nature, fertility, health, and envy. Interesting, right? With the lovers. So the lovers we have here, let me see if I can bring it up a little closer for you. So we have here a full sense of what the lovers could mean. Sometimes the traditional lovers card could mean a third party, so an envious-filled situation. Obviously, the lovers could deal with the matters of the heart, but it doesn't always have to be in the romantic variety, although typically we would associate the lovers with romance, right? And so I love that we have the pops of green here, because with a balance and a harmonious and soulmate kind of situation, what can be born from that? Well, life, fertile things, babies, a coming together to create a home and a life. If you're just doing a reading about self-love, you're having a positive situation in your health, right? A turning around of things in your health and well-being. So it's also about the sweetness and joy that comes with loving matters. So I love that she had carnations, pink carnations, with this beautiful anatomical heart. And the little pops of green to kind of be a nod to the traditional meaning of the lovers, where sometimes there's a third party involved, where you're having to make a choice, all right? Do you follow this part of your heart or this part? Who has your whole heart? And then we have the Queen of Elixirs. And so, again, a beautiful, I think, what is this? Is this a peony? I don't know this flower. But again, when we think of this queen, we think of someone who is a nurturer in the sense of she fosters an environment filled with compassion. She's a caring individual. She's playful, she's sweet, and she's romantic. Now, of course, there's some green in there. So, in the reverse, this is also someone who can be a little envious if love is not being shown her way. Sometimes she can show up as a martyr, even when we think of the Queen of Elixirs. She, just doing things for the sake of the accolades, and it's almost empty, versus when it's upright, she is someone who is moved and motivated by being a compassionate person, by being caring and playful and offering the sweet things in life. I like that. I like that a lot. All right, let's move on to the next color, folks. So we've got the High Priestess and the Queen of Blades. Blades would be traditionally the suit of swords or the element of air. High Priestess. It's got these little white flowers growing. There's also bits of green. You just can't escape the green in this deck, can you? All right, so the High Priestess, what I find interesting is that typically I associate mystery or a mysterious woman with this particular card or depiction of the High Priestess. But the words that the guidebook has is purity, innocence, simplicity, and clarity. And I suppose that sometimes when I think of the High Priestess and her being representing number 2, here, figure 2. I'll show you that. Figure 2. Can you see that? That she is somewhat of an innocent person. She may not even be aware that she's coming off as a little bit aloof and mysterious. But there's a lot of possibility and pure potential with her. And she doesn't overcomplicate things. She goes within, gets the answers. Simple is more effective, and she brings about clarity to a situation, as does the Queen of Blades, the Queen of Air. She also brings about clarity. Sometimes to a fault, though. Sometimes her words can cut, but she is the bringer of life in terms of her thoughts and her words. Where she is most fertile, because remember, we've got the pops of green leaves and stems here. Where she's most fertile is in her thoughts, in her creative thoughts, in the words that she speaks, and the words that she gives life to. She also can cut you, and in the reverse, she can be quite a bitch. That's what she can be. I know, because I'm an air sign, and I can totally be. You guys just don't know it. I try not to show it too much. But yeah, so I guess I'm struggling a little bit with the Queen of Blades, with purity and innocence. Simplicity I can totally buy, because, she's not about the BS. She wants to, cut to the chase, get right to the point. She's not, holding back any punches. She doesn't want all the fluff and the fat. She wants the lean, good information so she can move forward in an empowered way. So that's what I appreciate about her. That's what I appreciate about this one. All right, we're going to move on to the next color, the final color. All right, be right back. So we've got 3 cards here. The first, and we're going to go through them briefly, I promise you. First, we have the King of Blades. Blades, like I mentioned before, represents the element of air or the traditional suit of swords. The King of Blades. So the primary color that we have here, it's almost a balance, though, between the black and the green. And the black, remember, represents fear, mystery, power, and pain. This king can bring the pain. He is a powerful, authoritative figure. He commands authority and he receives it. He can't dole out punishments that can be quite painful, especially if he is found to be in reverse. This is someone who can, be, his moves may not be upfront. They may be mysterious. You don't know where he's going to strike next. This is someone who is a brooder. He lives in his thoughts. So upright, this is someone who is a powerful figure, but who may not exact fear. He could from time to time, but that's not what he's about. But yeah, he could totally bring on the pain. This one, he can. Now, let's move on to the 9 of Blades. What I loved about this card and why I chose it is there's a predominance of black here. These little black flowers, sorry, cutting off the image. And then these little bits of green stems. And let me show you. If you look carefully, can you see that? Can you see that little flower there? It's white. Minuscule, right? So the 9 of Blades is traditionally the 9 of Swords. And what we know about the 9 of Swords is it's what we call the high anxiety, keeping you up at night. You're losing sleep. You're feeling like there's a lot of stuff stacked against you. Your mind is in anguish, and it's very difficult for you to see things clearly. So this is what I was talking about. What is the predominant color depicted in the card? The black is representing fear. Things not being very forthright and clear to you. It's all mysterious. You don't know what the future holds, and you're losing a lot of sleep over it. This fear is holding a lot of power over you, or you feel like the situation holds, like you're powerless. Power is at issue here, and you feel like you have given away your power, or that this situation holds power over your life, and is at times very mentally painful for you. Okay? And so it could represent different areas of your life with this green. It could, you could be losing sleep over things that you're trying to create here, over a sense of turmoil in these particular areas of growth in your career, growth in your family. For some who are trying to conceive and they're losing sleep because you're spending money and it's just not happening. And it's causing you a lot of anguish and worry about that. So you could see how the colors can help you drill down what the card is saying here in a reading. I love that. And then finally we have the Tower card, all black, one of the rare cards in the deck that is full, like one color. Okay, just one color. So with the Tower card, remember we have the color associations of fear, mystery, power, and pain. Oh my goodness, yes, predominant. There are little bits of green here. The possibility of a life coming anew after such a time of pain, such a time of tumultuous change, and what feels like a catastrophe in our lives. Things crumbling down. But that was already on shaky ground. It wasn't built on a strong foundation, and it probably would not be able to stand much longer. And so the predominant feelings when you're in a tower moment can be fear. The future is unknown, and that's what's scary about the tower moment. Sometimes the tower can show up and you're about to make a move to a new home, but the fear of the unknown, like, will the commute work? You're going to be in a sense of chaos until you move and unpack and settle, into your new home. Maybe you have to start over in a new career. Maybe you've experienced bankruptcy, and the uncertainty of financial security is at hand here, right? It's a mystery to you. Maybe you had to drop out of school, but it was on shaky foundation. You never really wanted to major in that particular major in college. And so now you've dropped out. It was built on shaky foundation from the beginning. It's bringing about pain, but through the pain, it's fertility and growth and opportunity for a new beginning. One on stronger foundation this time around. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. So guys, let me know what you think. So if you have this deck, what were some of your favorite cards in the deck that really just nailed it with the tarot color association for you? I want to hear from you in the comments below. Let me know what you think of this video. I want to hear about that as well. All right, guys, that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching, and share this video, because this is not just about the tarot study, but this is also about us deepening our understanding of card meanings and being able to apply what we're learning here with the colors of the, what we see in our tarot decks. Not just a pip style deck, right? Also, what you can see in a fully illustrated deck, the color associations can really inform you in your readings and inform the readings in such a powerful way that you'll be grateful that you started applying tarot color associations to your card meanings. All right, guys, I want to thank you all so much for watching again. Big hugs to all of you, and I'll see you all in the next video. Ta-ta for now.